violence, sexual assault, survivors of homicide, and other violent crimes. When you bring your tax-deductible donations to the Key, you support them too. The Key is always accepting clothing, shoes, furniture, kitchen items, household goods, and more. On behalf of DSOC, thank you for your donations to the Key on Central, located at 1030 Central Avenue, Fort Dodge.
Daniel Pharmacy knows it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. The sun will still come up, the sun will still go down, and people will still need their medications. So Daniel's is offering curbside pickup. Call or use their mobile app for script refills. Then head on down and park in one of their specially marked spots on 12th Street. Give them a call when you get there, and they'll bring your prescription out to you. They're also doing no-contact delivery. Daniel Pharmacy, caring for you and about you for over 50 years on Central Avenue, Fort Dodge.
Michael Devine, the mayor of Manville.
It's a fancy title for a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
That's right, and we're back with Sam Clovis. Sam, I kind of went on a rant there in the last segment about the danger I see, and I do see it, Sam. I'm not pretending anything. I think it's dangerous to turn the country over to these people who are screaming at us, desecrating private property at will. The district attorney in Portland was presented with 600 different arrest reports, and he dismissed them all.
I know.
600. And there's more to come, and he will dismiss all of them. Apparently, there's nothing that you can do to a police officer or to property in the city of Portland that can't be dismissed as just free speech by crazy people.
Well, I think that the issue you have to understand is the fundamental issue, and written, I don't want to get too philosophical here, but John Locke wrote about this in his second treatise on government. It was included into the British Bill of Rights in 1689 and lifted almost verbatim into the Constitution of the United States. And the whole issue of the Third and Fourth Amendments was to protect property, because property is fundamental for free enterprise. Property is fundamental for liberty, because if you own something, then it's yours, and then nobody can take that away. It is an unalienable right, and that is part of life, liberty, and happiness is owning property. That's what it is.
Yes, and it's the foundational right that we have as a free people. This is mine. This is my property. You may not use it for whatever you want to do with it. Right. By the way, federal taxpayers, that's me and you and everybody in the country. We're going to be on the hook for all the damage to the federal buildings around the country, thanks to these people.
We might be on the hook for all the damage, period, even though the insurance companies reported today have paid out over almost $2 billion in insurance claims just on what has been done so far.
So how are we going to get stuck with all of it? Are the insurance companies going to go broke? Is that what you're saying? Or?
No, I think that what we're going to do is, because we're already seeing in Minneapolis, this is one of the great ironies of this. The city council had voted unanimously to defund the police in Minneapolis now are begging for police coverage to protect property.
Isn't that beautiful?
Go figure.
Yeah,
go figure.
I saw that. Yes, we must defund the police department. I think they were going to ban the police department there for a while in Minneapolis. Now, all of a sudden, they're getting a little nervous. You know, some of the city council people, all white people, by the way, all look like university educated liberal white people, maybe thinking that these people are going to show up in my neighborhood. And they're right.
They are right. And I think that this is one of the reasons you're going to see a lot of crawfishing here in the next 7 weeks, is you're going to see the Democrats, you know, it'll be, I hearken it back to the thing that one of the great illustrations of all time is, now that they've done something, now they're going to try to fix it. Well, it's like a cat trying to cover up poop on a marble floor. It isn't going to work. And so that's the analogy that I use, is to say, well, now you've done it. Now you can't take it back. And so I think that's where they are right now. They've allowed this. They've encouraged it. In fact, the Democrats have been connected to it. And now that that's happened, they can't take it back. And I think the American people are drifting, even though they may not like Trump. They like him a hell of a lot more than they like the alternative.
I got to tell you, that's one of the better metaphors I've ever heard. The cat thing there. Yeah, that got that a picture popped in my mind of what you were talking about there. That was great. I know somebody who's got a cat, and I wish he didn't, but that's a whole different
Well,
story.
there you go.
And by the way, let's not forget that the caucuses in Iowa, the party caucuses that we have every time there's an election year or a presidential election year, it's gone, and it's gone because of the Democratic Party. Now, we're supposed to turn our country or our state over to these incompetents. The national media will never be back in our state as it once was. The Democratic Party will take care of that. If the whole country is on edge waiting for the results of the caucuses from the Iowa Democratic Party, and they don't have them, and they don't have them for several days, and they go and they're mute about it. They won't even explain what's going on. We're done. That's millions of dollars out of our economy. Millions of dollars out of our economy in national recognition, and they blew it. A huge explosion. I don't think we appreciate it yet.
No, I do. I think you're absolutely right. But the conspiracy theorist in me says they did it on purpose.
Who, the National Party?
No, I think that I do think the National Party was behind it, and I do think it was done on purpose, is to get Iowa out of the first in nation status.
Yes.
Get those first, and this is how deep the conspiracy goes. I think the Democrats believe that if they get into power and they win the House, win the Senate, and have a Democrat president for at least 2 years, they will be able to do the following. They will be able to essentially eradicate the Electoral College. They will be able to stack the court with justices. Even if they leave it at 9, they may go up to 11 or 13. And like Roosevelt wanted to do. And then you end up with those other do away with the filibuster, so that the Senate, it becomes no more than a hot-blooded body like the House is. And then what you end up with is simple majorities to pass everything. And then that is the notion of where I think they want to go, which will guarantee single party rule in this country for as long as you and I will live, and probably as long as our children will live, before it finally gets overthrown at some point, and probably in a bloody revolt, unfortunately, because we'll have to start over.
We will have to start over. And no, I don't think that's impossible. I mean, power has always been the goal. The Democratic Party is authoritarian.
Yes, they are.
They want to control the way we think, the way we talk, the way we dress, and they're well on the way to doing it. I mean, the universities, the great places of free thinkers, the universities, at least they used to be, they have speech codes and safe zones and all of these silly things.
Well, you can't. What we end up with is self-censorship. We have professors that would like to introduce controversial topics in their class, which is what a college ought to be about, is challenging the way people think, both left and right. When you're in a class, you should never be able to discern a professor's politics, because you ought to be able to go in there and he or she should be able to challenge the students, whether they're left or right. That's what a good professor would be able to do. But that is not the way it is. And in fact, there's self-censorship, because if you're a right-leaning person like I am, I would be in serious trouble, even on my campus today, because of the fact that I am a known conservative. Even if I'd stayed teaching at the college, I would have been in trouble.
Yes, we're known conservatives. Put us on the hit list. Put us on the 10 most wanted list of known conservatives.
Known conservative.
That doesn't sound out of bounds to me, and I really don't think it is. I mean, I've never seen a party describe, or party members describe, free speech as a white man's construct. Free speech shouldn't be allowed because it's a tool of white male oppression. Did you know that?
Well, I did, but the idea, but the thing is that's I would address that the same way I would address any of those notions, and that is go stand in the corner over there with your nose up against the wall until you get that notion out of your head. The idea is free speech is free speech. There is no sense of whether it doesn't say white men only get to have free speech. Well, for a long time in this country, it was only white men. And then it became, then it was men. And in 1865, it became men. In 1868 and 1872, when we passed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. Then we went to, and finally, when the 20th Amendment was passed, the 19th Amendment was passed in 1920, when women could vote, so finally everyone had a voice. And so that's when it really hit. Everybody had a voice.
Well,
and that's what this has been all about.
Our guest has been Sam Clovis. Sam, it's a great pleasure as always to have you on the air. And again, his email address is sam@samclovis.com. Hey, look forward to talking to you next week.
All right. Thanks, Mike. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet. This is AM 1400 KVFD.
Alpha Media, St. Louis Lambert International Airport, and Air Choice One want you to pack your bags because it's time to get away. To celebrate the last 6 years of serving the Fort Dodge community, Air Choice One, along with St. Louis Lambert International Airport, will offer the first of 3 travel packages to you. The first one is for the weekend of October 30th and includes travel for 4 on Air Choice One from Fort Dodge to St. Louis, where a special car service will take you and your 3 guests to Chalmette Winery Vineyards for a 2-night stay. You'll also receive 2 $100 gift certificates to use at Chalmette. On Sunday, November the 1st, your car service will pick you up from Chalmette and take you to the St. Louis airport for your trip back home on Air Choice One. It's a prize package valued at $2,200. Register to win now through September 24th and get complete details at yourfortdodge.com. Then pack your bags because it's time to get away from Air Choice One, St. Louis Lambert, and this Alpha Media station.
It's the Fall Harvest of Savings Radio Auction Tuesday, September 22nd from 2 till 5. Thousands of dollars worth of items will be from 20 to 60% off. We're talking about stuff from your favorite stores, stuff for your home, stuff for your car, stuff just for fun, and plenty of stuff for your belly.
I'm